All right, now this is one of those videos where we're stripping away the usual formula of the channel. Usually it's Tyler Perry affiliated, the haves and the have-nots, if loving you is wrong, a Medea movie, whatever the case may be. And I might actually post this video to my other two channels, We Are the Flash and Jeremy Carden. One channel being focused on, like comic books and anime, and a third channel just being one I started recently where I just talk about life stuff and maybe giving my opinions on things of this nature. And let me just be upfront. I have watched Leaving Neverland, as well as the Oprah Winfrey interview panel, if you will, of like sexual abuse survivor. I believe it was a all audience of males who have been sexually molested or abused at some point in their lives, if I'm not mistaken. And let me just put it up front here, and I just want to kind of put this out as the introduction. I have been a Michael Jackson fan ever since I was a kid. Michael Jackson was born August 29th. My birthday is August 29th. I can't even, I feel like my story is the same as everyone else for the most part. You just grew up watching the music videos, listening to the music on radio. I mean, my mom had a majority of the vinyls to my now. I'll never forget it. The one time I scratched her Thriller album, she was mad. I'm talking back during the days of the record players, and me and my sister were playing around with it like it was a train track or something like that. I forgot what happened, but I did replace it, thank goodness, when I got older. I mean, I just knew it all. Moonwalker, Smooth Criminal, Thriller, just everything Michael Jackson, the award shows, the interviews, the concerts, like what was it, the Bad Tour, or was it the Dangerous Tour? I forgot which one, but that blew up on HBO, if I'm not mistaken. That was like one of the biggest concerts HBO aired at that time. It was the concert where at the end he left the stage on a jetpack. I think that was the Dangerous Tour. And after he died in 2000, when Michael Jackson was announced dead, that was one of those like my parents' generation, I believe they would call like the JFK moment. Like, you remember exactly where you were at, what you were doing at the moment he died. This was like, what was it, June 2009. This was after I graduated high school. This was when I was at home during the summer before I went to college. I remember walking through the living room. My dad was just sitting on the couch watching the news. I was coming from the fridge, walking from the kitchen to my bedroom. The news broke. Michael Jackson had died. I remember just stopping where I was. Me and my dad looked at each other, and I remember running outside to tell my mom when she got home from work, because this was at a time where, a few years prior, Michael Jackson had quote unquote fled the country. He was, I forgot what country he was in, but it was overseas in like maybe not the Middle East. I forgot exactly where it was, but there are all kinds of rumors circulating about, Michael Jackson was sick, and there were like 2 or 3 rumors that he was dead, and that was years before 2009, before This Is It, things like that. And I remember when he was found not guilty in court, and then he got on top of the van and was dancing. That was back, it was before my grandma passed. My last grandparent passed away, and me and my sister were staying with her that summer. And I remember that day too, as well as, the Martin Bashir interview, like Living with Michael Jackson, like that big event for what it was. I remember all that stuff. And then when he died, I remember BET just stopped everything. All these channels stopped whatever they were playing and just did nothing with Michael Jackson music. I think the marathon BET was doing like Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. I was up all night. My mom, she won't forget it. I was up all night doing the dance steps and everything, because remember, up until that point, I knew everything Michael Jackson related, but after he died, I delved into his career more and just studied him more, kind of like Prince as well. So even in my closet, I got a Beat It jacket, that cost almost $200. I'm talking like real leather and everything. I got a Thriller jacket. I got that from like Spirit Halloween. For like maybe 20 bucks. And I got the Billie Jean Motown 25 jacket. That came from Japan. That cost about 40 bucks. I remember that too. I got like 4 the gloves. I bought those for Spirit Halloween. I got a fedora that came with the Billie Jean jacket. I got a freaking Jerry Curl wig. I bought that sucker at I think it was Spirit Halloween as well. I got countless CDs and you know, DVDs of the concerts, biographies on Michael, books on Michael. Needless to say, I'm a major Michael Jackson fan. So all that's to say, leaving Neverland truly was an experience. Let me just put it that way. I did not watch it via HBO. I watched it online. Like, if you are familiar with the way I do things on my haves and have not channel, you know I don't post full episodes of the show due to copyright, because I'm a full-time YouTuber and I can't afford to lose my channel, because this is how I pay my bills. But for the HBO documentary, I was not against, you know, watching it on a website as opposed to HBO, because I did not want to show my support to HBO and make them money with my views. So I didn't do that. All I can say is this, you know, I was a communications major back in college, you know, so I studied advertising and public relation, but I had classes as well on like journalism, broadcast, graphic design, and things like that. And you don't have to be a communications major to know that when it comes to good journalism, you need both sides of the story. So when I believe it was Wade and James who were the focal point of the Leaving Neverland documentary, I was just at first glance like, man, this is just bull crap, because Mike was found not guilty in a 13-year investigation by the FBI, if I'm not mistaken, as well. You know, going back as far as around the gap between Bad and Dangerous. And I believe the first charges were what, before Dangerous came out or before History, I forgot which one. And that was settled out of court for like $25 million. I'm like, damn. And then moving forward, you have the charges in like the late 90s, if I forgot, because see, I was born in 91, so a lot of this stuff I kind of didn't know too much about until I got older, because whenever I'm watching Michael Jackson documentaries, I usually I enjoy, you know, Gary, Indiana all the way till like the Bad era. But then after that, when they start putting in the child stuff, I'm like, man, I just want to celebrate the man's music. I don't want to talk about this crap, you know? And it just hurts. So let me just put it this way. I get it. Everybody is, you know, has a right to free speech. But my biggest gripe is the whole thing about, you know, the man is dead. This year, 2019, and it's March right now, so in a couple of months, it will be the 10th year anniversary of MJ's passing. I was hoping to see, you know, the MJ estate pull out all the stops, you know, maybe a cool Michael Jackson book, or maybe like a mini documentary. I was praying that Spike Lee would do a Michael Jackson, you know, Thriller anniversary biopic or documentary. Remember how he did Bad 25? He did Journey to Off the Wall, I believe that was the name of it. And I have both of those on DVD, and I love them to death. I just love delving into the history, no pun intended, the history of those albums and the songs. So I was hoping he would do Thriller. I'm like, if he does Thriller and we have Off the Wall, Bad, and Thriller, then he doesn't have to do any more. I would love for him to do more, but he doesn't have to, because I would love to get more insight into the history, the Dangerous, the Invincible albums, just because, if I'm not mistaken, all 3 of those albums had the controversy surrounded around them in regards to the child molestation charges. And then when it came to Invincible, it was like that whole battle with Sony. And that album was kind of all over the place in terms of not a lot of good promotion, really too many artists and writers working on it, because I listened to Invincible a year or so ago. I remember doing a video on that, and that album really just, it had a couple of gems in there, but the album really didn't have a set focal point in terms of what genre of music it was. It was like a lot of great artists were working on the album for Mike, but it just really didn't have a focus, if you ask me. So I really wanted to get more insight into the songs. But I just feel like the man's legacy has been so freaking tarnished and destroyed. And I actually have an article in front of me. This is from Verity. Wait. Verity. Sorry, I actually just woke up from a nap. I know that's not a good excuse to do this, but yeah, it's called Leaving Neverland. Everything that's happened since the Michael Jackson documentary, since the Michael Jackson documentary premiered March 8th, 2019. This is when the article was written. I'm just going to read through some of these. Michael Jackson's music sees sales and streaming declines. The Simpsons removes the episode called Stark Raving Dad when Michael Jackson did an uncredited voice. Apparently, Corey Feldman have changed his mind. He's like, after seeing the film, I can no longer defend him. Radio stations are pulling his music. London buses are running MJ Innocent ads. I believe there are also some museums in like Britain or something, or Germany, where they've actually removed the Michael Jackson statues out of there. The MJ estate releases concert film on YouTube. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, the Dangerous Tour live in Bucharest. That was the one with the jetpack. A Michael Jackson musical canceled its test run. Yeah, that's right. They were supposed to be working on a musical. The Jackson estate sued HBO to block the airing of the documentary. Man. And Leaving Neverland IMDb page was hacked, and fans are trying to discredit the film because of its innocence. And the list goes on. I mean, I'm recording this now, March 9th, so there's probably going to be even more news tomorrow when I go online and see what's going down. But as a fan, this has just definitely tore me down, because I just don't know what to say. Because I wanted to wait until Leaving Neverland kind of calmed down, but to be honest, you know, it's still a hot topic in the news. I mean, with the R. Kelly interview that came out with Gail, and trust and believe I will do a video on that, that kind of, you know, distracted everyone from the situation with Michael Jackson. But just seeing every time I log online and scroll through my newsfeed, and I see more and more Michael Jackson things being removed from various media outlets and whatnot, it's just disheartening, because once again, this was supposed to be the 10th anniversary of his death. You know, I was hoping to see something, you know, in regards to that, like a celebration. And by the time we reach that anniversary in a couple of months, I don't even know if there's going to be anything left. The one good thing I've seen come from Leaving Neverland was the Michael Jackson fan base banding together. No matter what, they're supporting MJ. And I hope nobody's being thrown off by this video, because this really wasn't so much supposed to be a review, a blow by blow of the Leaving Neverland documentary. It's really like my feelings and reactions to it. And trust and believe I will be getting to Oprah pretty soon. And this has been a week. I mean, emotionally for me, in regards to, you know, a crush, but that's, you know, asides the point. But then seeing like a hero of mine just being destroyed like this is ridiculous. And I think it's not so much of the fact of it being Michael Jackson, but it's just in regards to the Me Too movement times up, and the fact that it's just another great black man being torn down. Like R. Kelly, that's different. That was something that was known. There was no secret what kind of freaky crap he was into. And yet he's still allowed to walk free. I think before we're starting this recording, it was reported that R. Kelly once again had a fan or some person, I believe a woman, pay his bail after he got arrested for what was it, like $160,000 in unpaid child support. So R. Kelly, that's a different case. And trust and believe, February was probably like the worst Black History Month I've ever lived through, because of the fact that it seemed like every freaking day there was another black celebrity or popular person being destroyed, either by their own actions or just by social media in general. I mean, heck, even moving forward than that, I think the R. Kelly thing was what, in January? Then you had the whole Kevin Hart situation with the tweets, and then Tiffany Haddish bombing on stage. So it seemed like, you know, big time black people were just losing it. Heck, Ja Rule at the halftime show at the basketball game, 21 Savage getting arrested, you know, the Cardi B Nicki Minaj thing. It's just crazy to see what it, I mean, looking at the Michael Jackson level of celebrity back in his time compared to celebrities today is ridiculous. And my thing about it is, when it comes to these journalists doing these documentaries, I didn't like leaving Neverland because it seemed completely one-sided. We only had the people talking about Michael's, you know, being guilty, as opposed to other child stars or just kids in general who spent time with Michael and, you know, he didn't do anything to them. And it's just another situation where I don't like watching these kind of things that are one-sided, because I don't get the perspective of those who don't have those quote unquote terrifying stories of Michael Jackson. And if you don't mind me making the comparison between R. Kelly and Michael Jackson in the scenarios, what I don't like is the whole parent situation. Like, keep in mind, let's imagine, and I know it's one of those things where, well, Jeremy, you were just a kid when this was going on. You don't know exactly how you would have done things in that situation, and I agree with that. But I think this is when common sense comes into play, despite who you're dealing with. I don't care if it's the biggest star in the universe as opposed to just, you know, your neighbor down the street. If I were a parent, and let's say, I'm just going to make up a name here, Billie Jean, how about that? You know, Billie Jean is the neighbor down the street. You know, Billy, I'm just going to say Billy as in a guy, last name is Jean. You know, one of the nicest guys on the block, but, you know, maybe 3 years ago, he was charged with child molestation, and he was found innocent on all charges. The people accusing him, you know, lost in court. There was enough evidence to support he did nothing. And, you know, Billy is good friends with everybody knows Billy. Everybody's cool with Billy. But, you know, 3 years later, Billy asked if, you know, my kids can stay tonight, you know, have a boy and a girl, and it's like, no, two boys, and it's like, hey, can they spend the night at the house? You know, we'll watch movies and everything. We'll sleep in the same bed. Hell no, Billy. Like, I mean, I don't think you did what the courts, I mean, the accuser said you did, but I'm not letting my kids stay at your house, especially if they're going to stay in your bed and everything like that. Hell to the no. So to actually quote unquote pimp out your kids, that's what it really seemed like. That's what really just made me side eye these people coming forward now. It just doesn't make sense to me. But if I will say this much, because Wade, what, twice in court when he was 11 and 22 said that Michael did nothing to him. But then, you know, he's doing the tribute concerts and everything. But then he tries to file like a $1 billion law. What was it? A $1.5 billion lawsuit or some ridiculous crap like that. It just did not look good. I will admit, if I were kind of like, you know, an average person who didn't know much about MJ or wasn't a huge fan, if I were given the choice between which person I would believe, it would probably be James, because James, I don't think I've ever heard of this guy, never filed a lawsuit or never seemed to be looking for any money or anything like that. He just had the body language of somebody who was trying to, you know, get his story told, if I were to believe him. But let me just say this much. I don't know what happened because I wasn't there. I don't know. I never met Michael Jackson, never went to a concert. You know, I was a kid, you know, during this era, not to mention as an, you know, adult, I didn't have the money to, well, no, I was in school, my bad. Because I just graduated high school when he died. So yeah, I was still, you know, in school. I couldn't afford that kind of stuff. But I just never thought he did it. I get it though. I think Kev on stage, he did like an episode of Righteous and Ratchet where he made some good points. You know, the thing about it is, like, same thing with R. Kelly. You know, the parents, they knew his reputation, but they still allowed their young daughters to stay at his place or things of that nature. And it's just like, why would you do that when you know he's been charged with this and married a 15-year-old and things like that? Like, why would you put yourself in that situation? It's kind of like, you know you can't swim. People have drowned in the ocean, yet you decide to go in there anyway, you know? And I just feel like people use the whole starstruck thing as an excuse, and in most of these situations, it's obviously a money ploy to get, you know, cash from these celebrities, whether it be to sue them or pretty much put their kids up for sale, for a lack of a better phrase. But I don't think it's incapable of people to do these kind of things, because look at the world we live in today. But at the same time, I just think Michael Jackson is innocent because he was proven innocent in the court of law. And the most don't get me wrong, aside from his legacy being destroyed in recent, you know, the recent days due to this documentary, I think what disgusts me the most is the fact that we have real life. When I say real life, I mean predators who are still alive in the midst of the Me Too Time's Up movement, who are just walking free. They're not in documentaries. They're not being destroyed in the news. Yet you're going after someone who's been dead for like 9 years. It's just like, what are you going to do? Dig them up and put them on trial again? Be like the Thriller video, but like, I'm innocent, Your Honor. Then his hand falls off. You know, I'm sorry. Like, I mean, I don't even feel like joking, to be honest, because I just was so disturbed by this. And then moving into the Oprah thing, when I saw that Oprah was hosting the panel, I was just like, you know what? This is some bullshit. Like, I'm sorry to curse, but I just could not deal with this. This was just too much because, man, I get it. Last year, the whole Netflix boycott thing with Monique did not go over well, but she was dropping bombs about the likes of, you know, Oprah, Tyler Perry, Lee Daniels, and whatnot. And to be honest, I really didn't understand what she was talking about. Not because I'm a huge Oprah fan. I'm very impressed by her accomplishments, don't get me wrong. And if I met Oprah, shoot, I couldn't say I wouldn't be semi-starstruck because I grew up watching her. But to actually see that she did one of the best Michael Jackson interviews of all time on her own show, but to just act like she was a friend of Michael, but then as the years went by, just, you know, I don't even know what to say. It's like, you know, Michael's being thrown under the bus. And I shared this video in the community tab on the Haves and Have-Nots review. A young YouTuber named JD, History in the Mix, he did an incredible like 10-minute video breaking down, you know, Oprah's involvement with the Neverland documentary in regards to doing this panel and how she's friends with Harvey Weinstein. And ironically enough, you know, air quotes, how this documentary was airing during the same week that Harvey Weinstein was supposed to be on trial. So literally Michael Jackson's being thrown under the bus to distract the media from a predator who's still alive. And I'm just like, well, damn, dude. If I'm not mistaken, he said the video got demonetized. I commented on it. I'm like, man, I hope they don't go after you because this video was on point. He said it got demonetized. I feel so bad because that video would have made him a lot of money. So, and I'm not just saying, I'm saying that as a fellow YouTuber because I know when a video hits like 100,000 plus views, oh, that's a nice piece of change right there. Like I paid rent many a day with videos that hit that number. But I just feel like Michael Jackson's legacy is being, like, I know for what it's worth, are they doing this now because Joe Jackson is dead? You know, like I wonder if they would have, did they wait because, you know, like the big time supporters of Michael Jackson are, you know, slowly but surely fading away. And I hope I don't believe Catherine Jackson has passed. I believe a few months ago it was said that she was very sick, but I think she's still alive. I'm pretty sure I would have known about it if she would have died. But I just feel bad for her and her, you know, near the end of her life. And she's having to hear all these nasty things about her son in the media again, almost a decade later. And it's just heartbreaking. I feel for his kids and the family as well. It's just disgusting to me to see what's going on like this, to see Michael Jackson, a guy who is dead, being destroyed. And I'm going to be honest here, like it kind of started with Quincy Jones making those comments, you know, about Michael Jackson, you know, stole music and he was like a arrogant SOB and he said all kinds of stuff. But, you know, he spilt tea on like a lot of people, like, who was it? Marlon Brando, Richard Pryor. I need to go back and watch it. He did a lot of stuff. I'm not going to lie here. Quincy Jones might be old, but I think he was telling the truth because, well, Quincy Jones has had, if you haven't watched that documentary on Netflix, I suggest doing so. He's had quite a life. I mean, just, it seems like he skipped through history, living through all kinds of different ages of music, working with all kinds of people, and he's seen and heard a lot of things that we wouldn't even comprehend. So I'm not gonna lie, I think it probably did happen because, well, again, he was there during what, Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. But that was, you know, kind of like a little dent because more people were mad at Quincy Jones than actually believing him. But I do think he was probably telling the truth. But with this is just ridiculous to me because I just hate that you're going after a man who's not here to defend himself. That's my main gripe with the Michael Jackson situation. Not just because he's Michael Jackson, but just because this is something that has been proven not guilty in court. He's been dead for this long, and now you're coming out. And I feel like more, and please, I know, well, then again, I'm not going to say please. This is my opinion because I know there is good that has come out of the Me Too and Times Up movement, but I feel like more people have weaponized it to use it for bad, because I feel like the real victims of these movements are being overshadowed by these people who are clearly doing it for money grabs. So Oprah, I just feel like I don't even know what to say on that. I really don't. Like, I feel like a lot of YouTubers and people who've written blogs and whatnot have already said, what I'm feeling. So I just feel like it's shameful that you would do this, especially to just another black man who's just been. I shudder to think what black celebrities in terms of like our culture will look like by the end of the year, because if you are willing to metaphorically dig up a black celebrity and crucify him, and I really don't like to use that term because I'm a Christian, I don't want to just throw that around, but you see what I'm saying, where you're taking an innocent man and you're literally destroying him in front of the public, yet there are true monsters among us, yet they're walking free. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It's just heartbreaking. Like I said before, we're supposed to be celebrating the man's legacy coming up on the 10th anniversary of his death, and yet once again he's being condemned, shamed, tarnished. His legacy is being destroyed. I mean, I thought things were bad last year. Wasn't last year when the Quincy Jones comments came out, but then later that same year, Thriller was no longer the best-selling album in the world or whatever, and I'm just like, damn. So now you're just dragging them to the bottom. It's just something else. And my attitude is like, when a person passes away like that, their crimes, their sins, it's between them and their maker. So the fact that he was found innocent, yet he's still being dragged. I mean, another comparison like Michael Vick, first of all, I love dogs, so I don't like the whole dog fighting thing. But at the same time, he was a black man who faced his crimes. He served his time. Yet he's still being, I mean, of course, it's kind of like, you're coming out of jail, and when you're doing a job application, you have to, talk about if you committed felonies, if you did jail sentences and whatnot. But I don't like when people are upset at someone, specifically black people, who committed a crime, were found guilty, served their time, and yet people still want to condemn them for it, even after they have, redeemed themselves, at least in the eyes of the legal system. And yet there are people out here who have murdered, beat women and whatnot, who are playing football and cheated and whatnot, and nobody bats an eye. So it's really disturbing to me. So Leaving Neverland for me just was a sick documentary. It made me cringe a lot. And I just don't even know what to say. I really don't know what to say. And then the Oprah Winfrey thing just took it to a whole new level of, are you freaking kidding me right now? So I will say this much. If these people are lying, then that's between them and their maker. When their time comes, they will be held accountable. That's all I got to say on that. And I just feel like, once again, I am glad to see the Michael Jackson community is stronger than ever. I mean, the community wasn't able to stop Leaving Neverland from happening, but at the same time, it really strengthened the resolve of the fans and the believers who believe that Michael Jackson is innocent. And once again, it really goes back to, well, if you're going to condemn a dead man for allegedly doing these kind of things, I think DL Hughley pointed it out too in an interview recently about how people say, how can you listen to R. Kelly and Michael Jackson music after everything they've done? And well, it's like the same way I can get up and sing the national anthem, because if you look back at what the history of that song, when and why it was written, then you think about black people in general and the connection between black people in the song, then it definitely does resonate with, oh, wow, okay, never mind. But let me put it this way. I grew up listening to R. Kelly and Michael Jackson, and I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to put it that way. It's like, it's something I grew up with, and I can't tell you how many times I sang I Believe I Can Fly or Ignition or Step in the Name of Love at karaoke or just, at friends' parties and whatnot. And Michael Jackson, look, just don't. You're not going to tell me what to do. I feel like we live in a day and time where people try to tell you how to think, and that's one of the worst things. And we are if you read the book Fahrenheit 451, one of my favorite books, it really does resonate with how the world is trying to force people how to think and act, and it really is it. But let me just put it this way. Michael Jackson, I pray his legacy is able to make it through this. But looking at what's happening now, I don't know. I really don't know. I do believe there will always be fans, but there's going to be a huge stain on the legacy of Michael Jackson. Kind of like, if you sort of want to make the comparison of just black celebrities in general, Chris Brown, like his Michael Jackson moment, if you will, was the beating of Rihanna. But, he's still one of the biggest stars in music right now. And then there's all kinds of controversy on him from the arrest, the alleged, drug use and abuse and all that stuff. Well, I mean, he used drugs. I mean, we kind of all know that. But it's just a shame. I really don't even know what to say with this anymore. But leaving Neverland, we just live in this day and age where you could be destroyed by an allegation or just somebody coming forward and say you did something. And it's crazy because last year that was the big thing where these, like Nelly, Russell Simmons and whatnot, like the Nelly accuser literally said she was lying, but at the same time, that doesn't account for tour dates and appearances and whatnot that Nelly wasn't able to do because of these allegations. And Russell Simmons stepped down as, head of his company and whatnot. And the list goes on, not just black people, but, celebrities in general. And that's what kills me about the Me Too movement. And just because somebody says something, a person is found guilty in the public eye. And if you're a celebrity, if your income or your company, again, if your income company, if it's based off of like public support, based off sales or people who show up to your concerts or your speaking engagements, buying your books, whatever, if somebody comes forward and accuses you of something, and social media literally condemns you as guilty, like the people who endorse you, sponsor you, invited you to these different things, they'll most likely cancel it. And because of that, you lose a lot of money and your livelihood is tarnished as a result. And I just don't know. I feel like, and what really gets me, what was it last year? The Golden Globes, I think it was like January, February. That's when Oprah did that Time's Up speech, and now she's the one at the forefront of this leaving Neverland panel thing. And it's just, I don't know what else to say. It really is. I mean, we have like Jussie Smollett, lying and everything. People say that he's not lying, but I think it's pretty safe to say that he was. Then the R. Kelly thing, which was something we all knew about. And for whatever reason, now documentaries are just being put out to ruin people's careers. I mean, is that what it takes now? I mean, if it was a documentary on Harvey Weinstein, I bet it wouldn't be aired on HBO. I bet that wouldn't be aired on all streaming services or in the news every single day. Oh no, but if it was Bill Cosby or there was a panel for him, oh yeah, that there would definitely be a documentary on that. That would be everywhere. I don't know. It's just, I think D.L. Hughley said this on the Breakfast Club. It's like, yeah, these guilty celebrities, I don't mind them going down for justice, but I need some diversity with my dysfunctional celebrities, not just the black ones. And that's the real thing that kills me with this. But guys, I'm still a Michael fan. I'm still listening to the music. Nobody's going to stop me. When it comes to Halloween, I don't know if I'm dressing up like Michael. We'll just have to cross that bridge when we get there. But I just don't know what else to say. I feel like I said before, if these people are really lying, their time will come. This isn't me threatening them because I'm not that kind of person. It's just like, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I believe we will all be judged when that time comes. So you can go ahead, tell your story, whatever the case may be. If some money comes out of it, fame, whatever. If it comes at destroying a dead man's legacy to get what you feel you deserve and you're lying, okay, your time's coming. That's all I gotta say on that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Did you watch Leaving Neverland? Did you just refuse to watch it as a fan? I'm not gonna lie, I just watched it within the past 24 hours. I could not watch it at one time. I was busy doing other things, but I wasn't going to watch. just because I was a Michael fan and it was like completely one-sided. But I just found myself, you know what? If they're tearing down Michael's legacy every day, more music's being taken down, more statues, monuments, and all these other Michael Jackson affiliated things are being just removed from public eye. Let's see exactly what this documentary was about, because I've watched plenty of YouTubers review it. I've read a couple of articles, but I'm like, you know what? Let me just experience what was going on. And I can see why people are just physically just depressed and sick over watching this, because as a Mike fan, this was just a hard experience to make it through. And I mean, once again, he made no secret in like the Martin Bashir interview that he slept in bed with kids. You know, I'm not saying Mike was right in the head, but it's just like, I don't think that he did those sexual things. I mean, you know, living in, and I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just trying to understand, because again, I would not do it myself, but I'm just trying to put it out there when it comes to, he was a kid living in like the same, well, sleeping in the same bed with like all of his brothers. So sleeping with other male, you know, would not be out of the ordinary for him. But I think one of the damning things about it is the fact that, you know, Mike just kept inviting kids over to Neverland. That's what really just messed it up. And I can see why people would think he would do that, because kind of like R. Kelly, even when he was on trial, even when he was, you know, out of court, he was messing around with young women. I think even at the trials, he was trying to hook up with teenagers. I'm just like, really? Because it's kind of like a fixation. So with Mike, you know, he just wanted to relive his childhood, or just recapture the childhood he never had. But I don't know. I just don't even want to talk about this anymore, because it really is just a sore subject for me. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think of the documentary? I feel like the cancel Oprah thing is very big, but I don't think you can cancel a billionaire. I could be wrong about that. Maybe, you know, we will see as the year goes on, but I can definitely see why Oprah would be getting a lot of backlash on this. And I do think this was just a publicity stunt in order to divert our attention away from the Harvey Weinstein situation, which I do believe his trial was pushed back, or at least his lawyers are trying to get it pushed back. But just another black man down. That's all I got to say. So subscribe to the channel if you would like. I would really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. And let me know, are there any other, you know, hot topics in the news and media you would like me to talk about? Like I said before, I just wanted to wait a few days, because I didn't want to just jump behind the microphone and record for the sake of getting views. Like, this video might not get 2,000 views for all I know, but I just felt like, you know, since leaving Neverland is still a hot topic, and more Michael Jackson, you know, music and items and everything are just being removed from the public eye, I just felt like I had to, you know, share my thoughts on it. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in. If you made it this far into the video, I really do appreciate your view, and I will talk to you soon, hopefully about a better subject. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you like what you just saw, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, or if you have anything you would like to add to the video, make sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to keep up with me on social media, go to the description box. All of my links for social media are right there. Also, if you feel like you would like to donate to the channel, make sure to click on the link to PayPal. Any amount helps. $1, $5, $20. As a full-time YouTuber, any support from my fans really does mean a lot to me. Finally, make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification icon. That way you're kept up to date on any new content I post to the channel. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you in the next video.